Last we had done this, no? I mean, we had just done the payoff. Now, screen. Just right. Okay. Now, last lecture we had done this, right? And action. See, this was a long call. That is, you had purchased a right to buy at a strike price of 200, right? And you paid a premium of 10. So when the market price is 150, what did you decide? Will you exercise the option or not? No, no. So that means this was lapse and it went lapse till here. And here, what did you do? At 210. Exercise, no? Exercise. Right? And after that, you decided you will exercise this. Right? So now, see, the decision to exercise or to lapse is taken by whom? The seller or the buyer? The buyer. That means any option at a particular stage, whether to exercise it or not, is going to be analyzed by the buyer. Right? And we now come across some new term, which is in the money, at the money, or out of the money. Right? I'll write the full form there. ITM is in the money, ATM is at the money, and OTM is out of the money. Okay. Now, what does this mean? This means that if by exercising the option, the buyer makes a profit, that means that option is said to be in the money. Paise mein hai. If by exercising an option, the buyer makes profit, then it's in the money. If by exercising it, he makes a loss, and he'll say, sir, loss kar raha hai, so he won't exercise it. That's a different question. But if he exercises it and he makes a loss, then it is out of the money. And where he is indifferent, whether he exercises or he does not, the profit or loss is the same, then it is at the money. In the money, profitable. out of the money, loss making, at the money, indifferent. Now, in all these places where you have taken the action as lapse, that means this option is out of the money for the buyer. Now, this is something you need to remember it both ways. That is, if the option is out of the money, the buyer will lapse it. Or, in other words, if the buyer is lapsing the option, that means it is out of the money, right? Which means this option will be out of the money here. And what about at 200? Is it out of the money? At 200, oh, sorry. Is this out of the money? No. What is the strike price of the option? 200. Strike price, 200. And when the market price is 200, then whether you buy it from the market or whether you buy it under option, your loss is still going to be 10 rupees only. See, suppose you buy it from the market, right? What are you going to do? You're going to buy the stock from the market, 200, right? What are you going to do with the stock? Deliver it under options, right? Now remember, if you buy the stock from the market at 200, your cost is 200 plus 10 rupee premium you have paid. That means your total cost is 210, and you will deliver it under option at 200. That means your loss is 10, right? What if you don't exercise the option? What's your loss? 10. Now this is like mehnat karke 10 rupiya loss karo, and without doing anything incur a loss of 10. What will you do? Without doing anything. That means you will allow the option to lapse. Instead of exercising and making a loss of 10, you will say, I won't exercise it. Right? Therefore, this point is what we call as ATM. ATM is actually, we can define ATM as the point where the strike price equal to the market price. ATM is, if you were to write here, ATM is where strike price equal to market price. Now this box will become very important when we start making tables ahead. That identifying that ATM point, because if you notice, below this ATM at 210 is the option in the money, out of the money? In the money. 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 And if you notice, from the top, अरे यार पता ये क्या हो रहा है, ये प्रोजेक्टर ये बंद, बार बार बंद हो रहा है. If you notice from the top, it's in this problem, it says OTM. It keeps going OTM till a particular stage where it becomes ATM. And then from the ATM, it starts becoming ITM. Now, as we go along and we start preparing more advanced table, it will become important for you to identify the ATM point. And then all you need to analyze is one thing, either upar ya niche. You identify whether it's uske niche is ITM or OTM. ATM ke niche, below ATM, if it is, let us just say it's OTM. If it's OTM, then that means upar will all be ITM. Because ATM is the crossover point. right? No, it's not the break-even point. It's not the break-even point. Break-even point alag hai. Break-even point is this. This is my break-even point where the payoff is 0, right? Now, we'll practice a whole lot on this. Now, if we were to draw this in a piece of graph paper, if you were to plot this on a piece of graph paper, that is, this is my market price axis, and this is my payoff axis. Payoff. And let's say this is my zero axis. How would the diagram look like if we were to plot the market price against the payoff? How will the diagram look like? See, let's take this as 150, 160. This is the market price, right? 160, 170, 180, and so on. Which means at 150, remember, this is my zero axis. Anything below zero is a loss, right? Now, at 150, what is my loss? 10. Let's say this is my 10. At 160, what's my loss? 170, 10. Now, that means if I plot it like this, and when it reaches, say, 230, 220, 10? No, 230. 20, which means my diagram is going to look like this. Sorry. Right? This is what we call as long call payoff diagram. And this diagram will become important from two perspectives. One, from an exam point of view, where they will ask you to prepare this payoff diagram. And second is, as we go more advanced into strategies and spreads, right? You will realize that you tend to remember things with the help of the diagram, because it's very easy to remember pictures rather than words, right? तब ये diagram ही आपको काम आएगा. Okay, now you can take this down. See this full form, since this is the first time we are doing this. ITM is in the money. ATM is at the money, and OTM is out of the money. And the strike price equals to MPS is only at the ATM point. उसके ऊपर नीचे कुछ मत लिखना, अपना दिमाग लगा के कि ITM strike price is greater than this, therefore this, वो सब कुछ मत लिखना अभी. Yeah. And we can do one more thing. In the money, if the option is in the money, buyer will always exercise if it is out of the money. Buyer will always lapse and at the money may buyer will always lapse. Is the chart inclining at 180? No, 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 no. Array. Muzammil, this chart is not made exactly to the price points. It's just an indicative thing of telling you how the diagram will look like if I did plot everything in a graph paper. This is just an indicative chart. There's not an exact graph point chart. In fact, if you look at this exact graph point, this point will be at 210. If I asked you to say in this case, what is the break-even point? The break-even point is at a market price of 210. If I were to ask you to express this 210, right? How will you express this 210? I mean, in the sense,
break up.
Break up.
200 for 10.
200 is?
The exercise price.
That means, can we say that for a long call break-even point is strike price plus premium. No, Viraj, you will not have to make it on a graph paper, but they might just ask you prepare the payoff diagram. So you will have to give them the shape of the diagram. Okay. Now, let's take one more example. Let's say you sell a call with strike price 90, premium ₹5, right? And let's say we have to prepare a payoff table. Prepare payoff table for market prices ranging from 60 to 125 in ticks of ₹5. 60 to 125 in ticks of ₹5. Right? Now understand this, what you are preparing is short call because you are selling a call. So now we have to prepare the payoff from the seller's perspective. Okay. And remember, in seller's perspective, you cannot have the column of in the money, at the money, out of the money. Why? Because in the money, at the money, out of the money is from the perspective of the buyer. He is the one who's going to decide. Right? Here, what you need to analyze is key. You take one particular price and analyze. In this case, what is the buyer going to do? And then decide whether that is going to result in a profit or a loss to me. सामने वाला क्या करने वाला है? And is that going to result in a profit or loss to me? Okay. Now, let's say market price per share is 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125. Now, okay, this being the first sum, right? First example, I will make this column where we will write whether the buyer will exercise or not. Just for understanding it. Later on, that is unacceptable. That is action of buyer. And payoff. And I'm once again repeating this. Later on, in a seller's problem, this action of buyer column should not appear. only payoff. Right? Okay. Now, remember, what have you done? You have sold a call. That means you have given someone the right to do what? To buy the stock from you. You have given that right to someone, right? Now, and this right, this strike price is 90, right? Now, at 60, will the buyer exercise it? No. That means buyer will tear off the option, which means buyer will lapse it. Now, if the buyer lapses the option, तुम्हारा profit loss क्या होगा? You will have a profit of 5, right? Okay. At 65, will he exercise? No. That means up to he will allow the option to lapse, which means you are going to have at 95, will the buyer exercise it? Yes. And if the buyer exercises it, what will be your profit or loss? Okay, 1 minute. Buyer exercise kar raha hai, which means the buyer will come and ask the stock from you, right? At what price?
90.
So you will give him the stock at 90. But at what price will you buy the stock from the market at? Incurring a loss of? But you have received a premium of? So what's your profit loss? Zero. Okay. Now in this case, which is your at the money point and which is the break-even point? At the money is and 95 is your break-even point. This is my break-even point. Right? Okay. Now at 95, he is obviously going to exercise, right? I'll just use a different coloring. So that means at all these points, he's going to exercise. Huh? Now understand what I told you earlier. A buyer will exercise the option only when it is in the money for him. That means if that guy is exercising, that means he is making money. Which means whenever that guy exercises, I will make a loss. See, this is that thing which I told you that you have to think both ways, right? Okay, which means at 100, he's going to exercise it. What will be my loss? 5 or 10? Okay, see, what have you given him? You have given him the right to buy the stock from you at what price? 90. So he will come to you and ask for the stock. He will pay you 90. But where will you get the stock from? The market. At what price? 100. You will incur a loss of, but you have received a premium of. Therefore, and at 105? Once the pattern is established, then you don't need to think. And if you see this and compare it with the chart, that call and put, seller of a call, what was limited? Here, profit is limited to 5 and loss is unlimited, right? And as a seller of a call, where would you want the market price to be? Go down or go up? Go down. Remember, the seller of the call was bearish. Acha. Now, if we were to plot this on a graph paper, how will the shape of the diagram look like? This is what we call short call payoff diagram. Now, initially, when we are doing it, I will be like we did now. At every stage, we analyze कि सामने वाला क्या करेगा. But later on, I'll tell you the shortcut method of doing this, where you don't have to analyze. हाँ, ये diagram के लिए. Diagram के लिए. You remember okay, someone asked me last lecture, I told you that side pay you leave some space. That was for the diagram. This is my market price axis. This is my payoff axis. This is 0 point. Here, where is the break-even point? How will you express the break-even point? Strike price minus premium. Which means, can we now agree on something in this chart which you had written? See, you had prepared a similar chart for call, no? Yeah. So here, can we write चाहे वो long call हो or short call, doesn't matter. The break-even point is strike price plus the premium. Okay. Now, we have seen the position of buyer of a call. We have seen the position of seller of a call. Okay. Now let's look at the remaining two situations, and this is where things will start getting murky. Put, selling. Okay. Now let's take an example. let's say you sell, you buy a put with strike price 120, premium rupees 10, right? And let's prepare a payoff for market price ranging from 90 to 150 in ticks of 10. Now this, what we are doing is long put. Okay. Let's say market price 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. एक काम करते हैं, इसको ना चलो कोई बात नहीं, इसको थोड़ा यहाँ पे एक्सटेंड कर देते हैं 150, 160, let's take it till say 170, 180. Actually, I wanted to extend it before also, but I think most of you have written it down. Chalo. Say this is. Now remember, this is a buyer long. That means you will have to analyze whether the option is in the money, at the money, okay, and the action that the buyer is going to take, and payoff. Now, at 90, will the buyer, is this option in the money, at the money, or the money? The right to sell at, see, understand, you've got what? You've got a right to sell at 120, right? So the right to sell at 120 when the market price is 90, is it in the money, at the money, or the money? It's in the money. At 100, what is it? At 110 and at 120. And remember, ATM is the crossover point. Then from ATM, it's out of the money. And even if you think logically, what have you got? You've got a right to, at what price? Market price is 130. The right that you have is worthless. You can sell it in the market, no? That means this okay. Now, what will be your action if the option is in the money? You're a buyer. See, now this is what I'm doing. In the first example, what did I do? I first taught you exercise karega ki nahi karega, and then I taught you it's in the money. Now we are going the other way around. We decided whether it's in the money, and then we decide the action. So this is exercise, and he will exercise it right till here, and then lapse. all the online people, if you're not understanding anything, stop me immediately and ask, huh? Because if you think ये later on बाद में समझ लेंगे, नहीं होने वाला है.
सर वो एक्सरसाइज में क्या होगा 90 मतलब वो 90 में खरीदा और खरीदेगा 120 में बेचेगा.
बिल्कुल. So what will be the payoff at 90? You will buy the, see, you're going to exercise the right to sell, right? But where will you get the stock from? The market. You will buy it from the market at 90 and sell it at 120, making a profit of 30, but you paid a premium of 10. That means 20 at 100, 10. Wouldn't ATM be at 110? No. Nidhi, what did I say? The ATM point. Look at the earlier place where I wrote ATM and OTM. Where is the ATM point? ATM point. ATM is at the place where strike price equal to MPS. Do not confuse ATM with break even. हाँ, एक मिनट. ब्रेक इवन नहीं 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 नहीं, अभी वो अलग चीज है. नाउ लेट अस सी. हाँ, at 110, what will be your payoff? Nidhi, here, this is my break even, like you said. And at 120, remember you're a buyer and your losses are. No, Nidhi, you will not lapse at 110. Nidhi, if you allow the option to lapse at 110, you will incur a loss of 10. But by exercising the option, you're bringing your loss down to 0. क्या निधि? हाँ हाँ हाँ. इसका पे ऑफ डायग्राम कैसे बनेगा? कैसे बनेगा इसका पे ऑफ डायग्राम? हाँ, नहीं, पे ऑफ डायग्राम का शेप कैसे? ये, and if you notice this कॉल का कैसा था? ये पहले कांस्टेंट और ये. This is long put and there are multiple ways of interpreting this diagram. Look at that first chart which we made of call and put. Long put is bullish or bearish? Bearish, which means when will you make money? Now if you remember, this is the market price axis. Here in this direction, the market price is going up, and in this direction, the market price is going down, right? You notice this, you are making money, profit, when the price is going down. That's bearish, no? Right? Long call kya tha? Bullish or bearish? Long call was bullish, right? If you notice here, when are you making money? See, this is your money making zone. When the market is going up. Right? Short call. देखो bullish था कि bearish था? Bearish. See, this is your profit zone. And when are you in the profit zone? When the market price is Going down. When it's going up, you're incurring losses. That's another way to interpret the diagrams. Okay. See, धीरे धीरे you must reach, we will reach a stage जहां पे मैं कुछ बोलूं और वो डायग्राम सामने आना चाहिए. The moment I tell you something, you must analyze. ये bullish है कि bearish है. When will I make money? Right? Which means इसका break even किधर है? Strike price minus premium. That is, this is the break even point. Achha, now this payoff table which we are preparing, understand, okay, we have to do the short put also, we'll do that. But understand, this payoff diagram is nothing but a kind of a what if analysis. That is, the moment I take a position in option, I will have this table in my mind कि अगर stock ये price पे पहुंचा, तो I'll take this much money home. If it doesn't go there, it goes somewhere else, I will lose this much money. So this is kind of a what if table, right? Okay. Now, let's take you sell a put with a strike price of, let's say, 105. Premium, ₹5. Let's prepare the payoff for market price ranging from 75 to 140, ticks of 5. Market price. Yes, this is short put. So market price, and since again this is an example and we are doing it for the first time, we will analyze. What did we do there? What was the column we prepared there? Action of buyer, right? And payoff. And the price range is from 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, 105, 110, 115, 120, 125, 130, 135, 140. Achha, generally speaking, in exam, they will not give you such a large price range. They might give you 3 or 4 prices. इसमें pay off करो. The reason I would tend to use large price ranges in the classes, because unless and until I take a large price range, you won't understand how the payoff is, that chart is being formed. तो 3 price लूंगा तो आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा. right? So that is why in class, all the examples we will do, I will take a long price range. But don't be scared. Exam mein they will only ask you 2 or 3 price ranges. बोला इसमें payoff निकालो. Okay, fine. Now, you are a seller of a put. So what have you sold? Right to sell. That means you have given the other guy a right to sell the stock to you at what price? 105. Okay. Market price is 75. Will that guy exercise? They understand. You have a right to sell the stock to me at 105. Market price 75. So will you not exercise your right? No? Exercise. Right? At 80, he will exercise and he will continue exercising it till 100. Because remember, at the ATM point, the buyer will always lapse it. लिखा था ना मैंने? At the ATM point, the buyer will always lapse it. Understand? Okay, now this is an easy way to think. Buyer will exercise only till as long as it is ITM. Baki ATM, OTM is going to lapse it. Okay, so at 105, so at 75, will you have a profit or a loss? Will you have a profit or a loss? You are a seller. You will have a loss. Okay, loss of how much? 105 minus 75, 30. Minus you received a premium, no? $25. 20. This is loss, right? 15. 10. 5. Here? 0. And at 105, profit of which means if I were to present this in a graph, how will the diagram look like? It will look like this. And if you notice, this will be a mirror image of this. This will be a mirror image of this. This is now, where is the break-even point appearing? How can you express this? Strike price minus premium. Break-even point for short put.
मैं वो मतलब 70 का करंट मार्केट प्राइस है ना,
हम्म
तो इसका प्राइस है 105, फिर तो सामने वाला एक्सरसाइज भी करेगा
भाई तेरे पास okay as a seller what have you given the buyer?
राइट टू टेक लीड
पागल है क्या? पुट बेचा है तूने. What is put?
सेलिंग
तो you have given some that guy that he can come and sell the stock to you at 105. Market price 75. See, suppose builder आके तुमको बोलता है that I will give you the right to sell the flat to me at 2 crores. Market price of that flat is 80 lakhs. Will you sell it in the market or will you exercise the option? अच्छा, एक builder आपको right देता है कि if you want, you can come and sell the flat to me at 2 crores. Let's say I'm giving you the right. मूड हुआ तो वो फ्लैट मेरे को 2 करोड़ में बेच देना. मार्केट में 80 लाख का भाव चल रहा है, किधर जाके बेचोगे? मेरे पास आके बेचोगे ना. That means you're going to exercise the option. Similarly, the buyer has got a right to sell the stock at 105 to me. Market price is 75. So will he sell it in the market or will he come and exercise the option with me? Exercise. This is a bullish because you're making money. This is your profit zone, which you're going to make when the market price goes up. Which means in that chart which we were making, if you see break even for short put is X minus premium and break even for long put is also X minus premium. Which means, can we go to this place where we wrote put and say break even point is strike price minus premium. Okay, now see, till now we have been preparing table by analyzing each and every price point. But as we go along now, you'll find that you don't have the time or the space to analyze each transaction. Right? Because यहाँ पे तो we have just taken, I purchased one call. But later on, you know what we'll see that the same person has purchased a call with a strike price of 30 and he has sold a put with a strike price of 40 and he has sold a call also with a strike price of 80. And they will say, prepare the net payoff. So you wouldn't have the space to prepare these kind of 3 tables. Right? So in that case, सारा चीज आपका दिमाग में चलेगा. And you'll only prepare the payoff columns. Okay. Now, how to go about that? Now, for that, first of all, is short call bullish or bearish? Bullish. Okay. Now, see, the point is you had to think, no, 2 बार सोचना पड़ा. Now, what I'm going to teach you is the technique where आपको सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा, फट से आएगा. Okay. Now, how is that? See, earlier, that is, it's bearish. Short call is bearish. See, earlier, before this online thing and all came out, to execute any transaction, we had to call up the broker, right? And the typical conversation used to go like this. I'll pick up the call the broker and I say, boss, I want to execute certain transaction. The broker will say, sir, hold on, let me get a piece of paper and a pencil. So he'll get a piece of paper and he'll say, yes, sir, tell me what is it that you want to do. Now, I will tell him my orders, right? I'll tell him, boss, I want to buy 200 Wipro. So in the piece of paper, the broker will write account Srini sir plus 200 Wipro, right? And I'll tell him I want to sell 50 SBI. He will write minus 50 SBI. I'll tell him, boss, I want to buy 100 ITC plus 100 ITC. Remember, plus indicates Normal, logical, right? When you're buying, you are adding to the portfolio, right? Acha. Now, so plus is buy, minus is sell. Now, call, just the word call, what does it give? What is the definition? Just that word call. It's a right to buy. That means call by default has got a positive sign. It's a right to buy. Buy is plus, right? And similarly, put is a right to sell. That means put by default is a minus sign. Okay. Now, just think of it. When I'm doing a long call, that means long means I'm buying. Now understand, for long, what will be the sign? And what is the sign of call? Plus into plus, positive, which means you are someone who's positive on the market. You call him bullish, no? Someone who's pessimistic on the market, negative outlook. Bearish, okay. If you do a short call, understand, short means sell, minus, call ka sign, minus plus. Right? Okay. Long put. Long ka sign. Put. Minus. Minus. Now, the moment you know this, right? Short put. Long put. Short call. See this? Now you know bullish bearish. And this bullish bearish will become very important. The table strategies, options, the options ka pura game is all about bullishness, bearishness. Which is why in the table also, if you notice, that was the first thing I wrote. You see that here? This bearish bullish. This is going to be the foundation of options. Which means, can I write here in the put plus minus bearish, and seller of a put, what can I write? Minus bullish. Huh? And similarly in call, remember I told you to plus bullish minus plus. To the place where I told you to leave that line and write it, fill this up. And later on, maybe if you want, you can take that, whatever I wrote down, to short call, long call, whatever. एसी बंद करना है, गर्मी लग रहा है यार. And similarly input. Okay. Now, if you want, you can again optional hai, because you have already written this down there. But if you want, you can note it down, not in that chart wala thing. Huh? Somewhere separately, if you want, you can. नहीं भी लिखा, it's okay. एक काम करो ना, इसको पंखे पे रख दो.
बाय के लिए प्लस है और सेल के लिए माइनस.
Buy is always plus. See, when you're buying something, you're adding to your portfolio, right? So it's a plus. Okay. Now there are we are going to use this concept of bullishness, bearishness across the chapter right now. Now, for example, let us say you have purchased a stock. You have purchased a stock. Are you bullish or bearish? आपने stock buy किया है, bullish. Now, if you want to hedge your position, then you need to have a bearish position. Right? Now, one thing we could have done is, like we said, we could have sold the futures. याद है पिछले इसमें किया था by calculating the beta exposure value into beta, and selling the future is a bearish thing. We could have done that. Okay, now ignore that. Suppose I say, no boss, you have to hedge using few options, right? Which means your purchase stock, which is bullish. Now in options, you need to have a bearish strategy. Okay, don't look down. Tell me what are the things you could do for a bearish thing. Exactly. I could do a short call, plus and minus bearish, or I could do a long put. Now, the financial implications are different. We'll go into that later. But the thing is, मेरे पास दो रास्ते available हैं. Okay, fine. Suppose I've sold the futures. I've sold the futures. Now I'm going to second example. I've sold the futures. Am I bearish or bullish? Bearish. I've sold the futures. जब भी कोई चीज बेच देते हो, you are bearish, right? You sold the future, bearish. Now you want to protect it using options. That means in options, which strategy will you use? Bullish? Bullish? What are the two things you could do? Long call and short put. Now understand, you are getting answers to hedging questions automatically. Meaning, the moment you see the question and they've said you have done this, analyze it. What is done is bearish or bullish. And then you know that options may, he has to do the opposite. Then he can do two things, A or B. Okay, because most of the time students come and ask me, sir, how do we, I mean, solution may be, but how do we know? This is exactly how you know. Right? Now, supposing I have sold stock, bullish or bearish? So here I want, what could I do? Long call, short put. Long call or a short put. Okay, fine. Now, this preparation of tables, now I'll start giving you examples which you will solve. And once you start struggling, then I'll tell you what to do. Let's say you sold call with strike price 95, premium ₹4, right? Can you prepare the payoff table for market price ranging from 70 to 130 in ticks of 5? First, you prepare, and then I will teach you the shortcut method of it. Let me just prepare the table and keep. Sorry, no actions, huh? No action. Now only the market price and the payoff. आएगा, हम नहीं बना रहे. देखिए, one point आएगा, पर हम नहीं बना रहे, right? Because remember, in real life, we don't do it in ticks of 5 rupees. We do it in 50%. 70.5, 71, 71.5. हो गया, done? हाँ. Now, एक मिनट, ये क्या है? You sold a call 95, right? So this is 4, 4, 4. हाँ. Sorry, sold a call है ना ये, not a put. Sorry. That is 1, and 105 is 10 minus 4, 6, and 110 would be 15 minus 4. Ah, 1 rupee is also else. Now, See, the thing is, you were analyzing at each stage, but I didn't analyze at each stage. Now, the way I did this was, now let me take this out. Okay. Now follow my steps very carefully. And this is how in future you will do. First of all, the strike price is 95. I will identify my ATM point. That's my ATM. Now we know that above, once you have established the ATM, then above this must either be profit or a loss, in which case below this will be a loss or a profit. Okay. Now, when you're selling a call, are you bullish or bearish? Which means your profit zone is when the market goes down, right? And this is your loss zone, right? Now, you have sold a call. As a seller of a call, for you, what is limited and what is unlimited? Profit is limited. No, so this is the profit zone. सीधा दिमाग बिना चलाए. दिमाग ही नहीं चलाने का, सोचने का ही नहीं, वो क्या करेगा नहीं करेगा. Right? Okay. Your losses are unlimited. Now, यहाँ पे you'll have to start calculating. See, understand, you already solved 50% of the table without even doing anything. Right? So now you start solving. No? 95 minus 105. 5. And sorry, 95 minus 100. 5 is your loss, and you have received a premium of 1. Then do one more. 105 minus 95. 10. Now understand, a pattern has been established. अब सीधा ये पैटर्न को खींच देने का. Right? Now you are stuck at 95. But understand, at 95, the buyer is always going to lapse. And you are the seller. That's it. But understand, here, what have I taken use of? The bullishness, bearishness of it. Usko use karke main kiya. Right? Wait, I'll give you one more example, which we will do it together. Let's say you sell a put with strike price of 65, premium rupees 2. And let us prepare the payoff for market price ranging from 30 to 100 in ticks of 10. In ticks of 10. Okay, so wait, market price 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Ticks of 10. Strike price 65. Now understand, here when I explained the examples, I was giving everything, in uniform scale, right? But real life में uniform scale में थोड़ी मिलेगा. Now, process is same. First of all, what did I tell you? Identify the ATM point. Now here, strike price is 65. That means ATM point will be somewhere here. Okay, fine. Now you sold a put, bullish or bearish? Bullish. Bullish. That means this is your, and this is your loss zone, right? And as a seller, for you, what is limited and what is unlimited? Profit is limited and losses are unlimited. Now profits are limited to right? Yeah, 50% of my table is done. Now I've got to focus only on the upper ka 50, where I'll be incurring a loss. How much loss? At 60, my loss is 5, but I've received a premium of 2. Do one more. At 50, my loss is 15, but I've received a premium of 2. So what is the pattern? 10. Do it. That's it. Barabar? Huh? Now, Acha, this profit or loss, right? First two problems I've written it, but later on, even this will have to be in your mind. Understand? Now, dhire dhire we are eliminating the columns, right? For example, let us say you buy a put with strike price 107 or 105, premium rupees 3. We'll prepare it for market price ranging from 60 to 150, ticks off 10. Follow my methodology. Market price 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. Identify the action column. नहीं बनाना है अभी. No more action column. No more in the money, out of the money. Right? Now, first you identify at the money, right? At the money point is here. You place a dot here. हल्का सा एक dot भी place कर लेना exam में भी. Place a dot here. Then, buying a put is bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
Bearish. Which means you'll make money upper profit in this table. This is profit and this is loss. Take it? Now, dimag mein, now this thing also keep in mind. Upper profit, niche loss. For a buyer of a put, which is limited and which is unlimited? Loss is limited, no? So the niche wala portion is loss. There, 50% table completed. Now focus on the balance 50%. If the market price is 100, you'll make a profit of 5 rupees, but you paid a premium of 3. बराबर ना? 2 क्या? Profit of 2. At 90, one more. 90, 12. Pattern is established. 22, 32, 42. Okay, done. बिल्कुल, because pattern, the gap, unless they say that boss 20 to 30 in gaps of 2 and then 30 to 60 in gaps of 4, वैसा भी हम problem करेंगे, but that is a rarity. Generally, even in real life when we prepare, we would prepare in ticks of 50 paisa. So the gap is going to be uniform 50, no? So once you establish the trend, वो gap उतना ही चलने वाला है. Right? That means in any question, in any table, your attention is only focused on 50% of the table. The balance 50% तो दिमाग में ही बन रहा है. Okay? Now let us do a little bit more complicated thing. And I'll give you a homework also later on in this. Let's say there is Mr. X. ठीक है, and he has done the following things here. He has purchased a call with strike price 250 and he's paid a premium of rupees 3. ठीक है, simultaneously he has sold a put with the strike price of 210, sorry, premium of rupees क्या बोला था मैंने, 3. Okay, premium of rupee 1, and he has also got a long put with a strike price of 230, for which he has got a premium of rupees 4. Totally illogical figures, doesn't matter. But what I want you to do is prepare the net payoff table. Net payoff for market prices ranging from 180 to 300 in ticks of rupees 10. Okay, and I'll tell you इसका फॉर्मेट कैसे होगा. मैं खाली कॉलम्स बना देता हूं. You will have market price, then you will have a payoff for long call with a strike price of 250 with a premium of 3, short put with a strike price of 210, premium of rupee 1, long put, strike price 230, premium of 4, net. Understand? Sums ऐसे ही आएंगे एग्जाम में. So here you don't have the space or the time to do in the money, at the money, exercise, labs. ये सब करने का कुछ टाइम नहीं है. Prepare it the way I told you. हाँ,
पेंसिल से कर लेंगे पेंसिल से कर
fill it up with a pencil. I mean, if you want to keep your notebook clean, otherwise pencil will help.
एटीएम पे हमेशा लैक्स होता है।
बिल्कुल।
ऐसा कर सकते हैं क्या एक बार में, मतलब यूनिफॉर्म रहेगा तो मतलब मेरा जो एटीएम के पास जो प्राइस आता है, जो मेरा प्रॉफिट आएगा टिक्स, मैं टिक्स भी ऐड कर सकता हूँ ना, अगर टिक्स से
वही तो मैं करता हूँ। What do I see every time?
24 का निकालता हूँ, मैं 21 का निकाल के टिक्स ऐड किया तो मैं आंसर वही आता है ना मेजर।
बेटर इज बिकॉज वो एटीएम से जब ओटीएम में जाता है ना, तो आपका जो डिफरेंस है वो कैलकुलेट करने में थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा कि गैप कितने का है. So better is take one step and then you have a clear cut established pattern. टाइम नहीं है तेरे पास, इसके लिए थोड़ी कैंसिल करना है अभी. 210 minus 210 200 minus premium, मैं तो पहले से कैंसिल ले रहा है. नेट कितना आ रहा है? एक मिनट, ऑनलाइन डन डन बाकी है. A minute and a half for each option. हो गया, मैं करूं अभी. Okay, chalo. Now see the way I'm going to do. Long call, right? 250 here. I just place a dot. Long call is bullish. So I'll make money when the market goes up, loss when the market goes down. And as a buyer, my loss is limited, right? So 3. Ten minus 3, 7. 2017. Chalo, 27, 37, 47. Okay, then 210 here. I just placed a dot at the money. Short put, bullish. I'll make money when the market goes up, lose money when the market goes down. Right? And for me, my profits are going to be limited. Short put, my profits are going to be limited. That means 1. Nine loss. Okay. Long put 230. Here, 230. Long put is bearish. I'll make money when the market goes down. And for a buyer, what is limited, what is unlimited? Profits are unlimited, right? And losses are limited. So 234. Here, 6. Right? This is 32, 46, 14. Right? And this is 22, 36. Sorry. 14. 12, 14. And this is 17 minus 3, 14. 7, 4. 6 negative. And this is 8 positive 4. 14, 24, 34. This payoff table should not take more than 5 minutes at the most. 5 minutes बहुत हो गया इसके लिए. And this is bonus marks. Okay, we will do further sums इस पे करेंगे. This was just to make you understand the concept of how a payoff is prepared. And by the way, incidentally, but ठीक है चलो उसमें बाद में जाते हैं. So this was just to give you an idea of how we prepare the payoff table. So till now we have learned what's a call, what's a put, the bullishness, bearishness of the call and the put, right? And how to prepare payoff tables. Now, before we start solving problems, there's one more concept that we need to know. एक minute. Online, have you all finished writing this down? हो गया है? Yes, okay. Now, we need to understand something about intrinsic value and time value of an option. Now let's take an example. Let us say, I'll come to this page in a moment. Let's say there is a company whose current market price of the stock is, let's say, rupees 100. And you are holding, you don't need to write this, huh? Don't write this. You are holding 1 lakh shares. Now the company decides to come out with the rights 1:1. Okay. Now, what will be the pricing of this rights issue? Can the company price the rights issue at 10 plus 140 rupee security premium? 10 face value plus 140 premium? Can the company issue these rights at that price? Why not? The market price is 100. So who will buy it at 150? Okay. Can the company issue the price shares at 10 rupee plus 10 rupee premium? Yes, but it will not issue it because no company would want to sell its equity cheap. So logically, the company might price it at 10 rupee face value plus let's say 60 rupees. Right? Which means anyone who wants to subscribe to these shares must pay 70. Now, you are the shareholder of the company and you have received the rights form. Okay. Now, let us presume that this rights will be open for a period of 3 months, and today is this is the right closure date. Right? And this is my rights opening date. Now, on 1st Jan, you got this form from the company. Okay. Now, there are 3 things you could do. 1, you might decide that I will subscribe to these shares. Right? 2, you might decide to sell the rights to someone. Or 3, you might decide to tear it off. Now, tearing it off is not an option, because if you can sell it in the market, then why tear it off? Okay. Now, so you're left with 2 options, either subscribe or renounce. Now, I'm not getting into the subscribe, because if I go into the subscribe, the story ends there. We are more interested on the second part. Now, let us say since you already have 1 lakh shares with you, you think that, boss, I don't want another 1 lakh shares of this company. I mean, that's too much exposure in the company. That could be one reason. Or the second reason could be you don't have the money, 70 lakh rupees, to pay for the rights right now. So you decide to sell it. So आप क्या करते हो? You approach Mr. A. This is you. You approach Mr. A and ask Mr. A, and remember, this is happening on 1st Jan itself now. And you ask Mr. A, do you want this form? Now Mr. A says, yes, I want this form. Will you give it to him free of cost? No, you will charge him. How much will you charge him? Nidhi says 15. Nidhi, how did he get this 15? You will charge him how much? 70 plus 30. मतलब उसको आप फॉर्म 100 रुपया में दोगे. मेरा सवाल सिंपल है. At what price will you give him the form? Remember, once he buys the form, he will have to subscribe with the company. More than? Less than 100. So you will give the form to him at, let us say, 80. तो वो आपको 80 रुपीस देगा. फिर कंपनी में जब सब्सक्राइब करेगा उसको 70 रुपीस पे करना पड़ेगा. Maximum 30. Right? Now, what is this 30? This 30 is the intrinsic value of that form. वो फॉर्म में उतना वजन है बॉस. फॉर्म में वजन है 30 रुपीस का. That form has a benefit. That form gives you a benefit of 30 rupees. Right? Now, this benefit is what we call as form ka vajan. Right now, let us call it as that. Form mein vajan 30 rupiya ka. But you will not sell it at 30. You will sell it at slightly more than 30. Say 40. Now you might think, sir, why 40? Then you are contradicting yourself, because the guy, Mr. A, will pay you 40 and then he will pay the company 70, 110. Then why not buy the market 100? Wait. Now you will tell him a few things. 1. See, when does this right closes? So when does that guy have to pay that 70 rupees to the company? 31st March. But if he buys the shares from the market today, when does he have to pay the money? Today. So you're going to tell him, look, boss, if you buy the shares from the market, no, you'll have to pay the money today. But this form, you can pay it on 31st March. So that 3-month interest you're saving. 1. Second, Mr. A is telling you, that I'll buy 1 lakh shares from the market at 100 rupees. What you should tell him is, yes, go and try buying 1 lakh shares at the same price of 100. See whether you get it. Will you get that 1 lakh quantity at a single price of 100 from the market? No, because the moment you start buying, what will happen? The price will go up. That is, your buying itself will start pushing the price up to your disadvantage. This is what we call as a impact cost of a transaction. Your buying itself is impacting your cost, right? Lekin, this rights form will give you that entire 1 lakh share at one price, right? So you're going to tell him two things. One is that, boss, you're going to save on interest. And second is, don't tell me that you'll buy 1 lakh shares from the market at 100, you won't get it. Second. So, and third, you are telling him, see, the share price today is 100, and that is why this form has got a value of 30. And you still have 3 months to subscribe to this form, right? What if tomorrow the share price from 100 goes to 150? Then this form of yours will appreciate in value, because this form is giving you a right to do what? Subscribe at 70, and the market price of the share has gone to 150. The value of the form will increase. And supposing by 3rd Jan, if the stock price goes to 200, this form will still give you the right to subscribe at 70, right? तो ये फॉर्म का तो और भी वैल्यू हो जाएगा. मतलब in the next 3 months, technically, how much the share price can go up theoretically? Infinite. That means you have a chance of becoming a Lakpati or a Arabpati, boss. And I'm not asking for lakhs and lakhs. All I'm asking is 10 rupees extra. 30 is the value of the form, no? I'm only asking you 10 rupees extra, boss. So will you or will you not, will Mr. A pay me or not pay me that 10 rupees extra? He will pay me, right? Which means, now understand, this 40 can be broken down into two components. 30 is the vajan of the form, and 10 rupees is the value of the story that I gave him. Story value. Let's split it into two parts. Form ka vajan and the story value. Okay. So you sold it to Mr. A at 40. Now this 40 breakup is 30 plus 10. Now let's talk this as the vajan of the form, and this is the story value. Okay. This happens on 1st Jan. Acha. Now 3rd Jan, the market price of the share goes to 130 share. Now Mr. A thinks, yaar, ye rights form maine kharid to liya, but now I don't want it, I'll sell it. So what Mr. A does is, Mr. A approaches Mr. B, saying, do you want this form? Mr. B says yes. Now, what is the vajan in this form as on 3rd Jan? Hey, what is the vajan in this form? This form is giving you a right to subscribe the shares at what price? And what is the market price of those shares? So what is the vajan of this form? 60. Now, Mr. A has heard a story from you. Interest, ye, wo. So that same story he's going to tell B also. And he will charge some. And now when you told A that you could become a Lakpati, Mr. A will now tell B, boss, forget Lakpati, you can become Arabpati. Why? In one day, look at what has happened to the stock. Right? Okay. So what he will do is magnify this. And he will sell the form at 80. Achha. Let's take 3 or 4 more steps. First Feb, the stock price reaches to 400. Stock price reaches to 400. And now Mr. B decides that forget this, boss, let me sell it. And he approaches Mr. C. अब इस फॉर्म में वजन कितना है? 330. And he will give some story value, maybe 20. Seeing that, right? So, okay. Now let's take one more. Let's now talk about, say, 15th March. And the current market price of the stock, unfortunately, falls to 150. Right? Now, what is the vajan in this form? Now, Mr. C might do it, huh? Might. 80, but he will still give the story to Mr. D that you don't have to pay the money now, impact cost, falana, dikla, right? And he will maybe sell it at maybe 10. Right? Now comes last day. And let us presume that the right offer expires at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the cutoff time. At 11:59.99, just that fraction of a second before expiry, Mr. D and Mr. D decides to sell the form to Mr. D. And at this time, the current market price of the stock is, let us say, 200. Now, understand, this is that fraction of a second before that. Mr. D says, boss, ये form चाहिए, ये बोलता फटाफट दे मेरे को चाहिए. Now, form में वजन कितना है? 130. Now, what Mr. D does is, Mr. D ने C से जो story सुना था, he gives that same story to E. But will now E digest that story? He will not, because why will he not? Because there's no time. Time is 0, which means Achha. Now this vajan is what we call and the story timeline. But from this, will you agree with me on one thing, that on expiry, time value will be 0? Right? That means on expiry, the value of this rights form will be equal to its intrinsic value. Right? So that means we can now say on expiry, the option, if this is intrinsic value and this is time value, that means on expiry, the value of the option will be having its intrinsic value, but it will not have its time value. Right. Now, before expiry, will the form, okay, now let me give one more example here. Let's say 20th March. Current market price of the stock collapses to 40. And let's say Mr. D wants to sell it to E. Let's ignore this for the time being. Is there any intrinsic value in this form? Because this form gives you a right to buy it at 70, market price 40, right? There's no intrinsic value. So Mr. E tells Mr. D, look, intrinsic value to hai nahi, to give this form free of cost to me. Will you give? Why not? Because you will say today it does not have weight. But what if tomorrow the share price goes up? That means, can we say that here there is no intrinsic, but there is time? Right? Okay. Which means, can I say that before expiry, the value of the option will comprise of two things, intrinsic and time. Bhale intrinsic 0, लेकिन रहेगा, right? लेकिन expiry के दिन, the value of the option will only be equal to its intrinsic value. Acha, wait. Now, at the beginning of this chapter, I told you that right shares are nothing but options. Because what does the right form give you? A choice to subscribe to those shares. It's an option. Okay. Now, in this case, the right forms gave you the right to buy those shares at 70. Market price 130. This portion. Is this option in the money, out of the money, at the money? The right is giving you, rights are giving you a right to buy the shares at 70. Market price is 130. In the money? Sure. Can we say that this option is in the money here? Huh? हाँ बिल्कुल 40 रुपीज किस, एक मिनट किसने किसको सेल किया? हाँ तो बी ने दिया होगा ना ए को 40. हाँ अरे तू फ्लैट बिल्डर से खरीदता है 1 करोड़ रुपया उसको देता है, राइट? फिर वो फ्लैट तू 2 करोड़ में बेचता है तो फिर 1 करोड़ रिकवर करता है क्या किसी से? हाँ जी नहीं ना, you purchase the flat at 1 crore, that's your cost. Now after 2 years you are selling the flat at 2 crores to someone, so are you going to recover that 1 crore from someone? That 1 crore हो गया ना, वो cost है, right? Okay, 1 minute. Here the option was ITM, right? So it had an intrinsic and time. Acha. When the market price was 40 out of the money, so it had no intrinsic, but it still had time. And if the option was at the money, let's say the current market price was 70, will you give the firm free of cost? Is firm में वजन है? Firm में वजन नहीं है, but will you give it free of cost? Time value. Acha, which means, can I wait? This table will make before expiry. मतलब expiry के पहले. If the option is in the money, will the firm have वजन? मतलब right? Before expiry. Now there are two situations we'll talk about, before expiry and on expiry. Okay? If the option is at the money before expiry, will it have firm में वजन? But will it have intrinsic value, time value? Before expiry, टाइम वैल्यू तो रहेगा ही रहेगा. अच्छा, ऑन एक्सपायरी, एक्सपायरी के दिन अंडरस्टैंड, ऑन एक्सपायरी ऑप्शन चाहे आईटीएम हो, एटीएम हो, ओटीएम हो, right? And if it is in the money, will it have intrinsic value on the last day? Right? That means on expiry, what will be the value of this option? This one. If the option is at the money on expiry, what will be its value? उसमें ना intrinsic है ना time है, and I'll show it to you. Actually ये zero हो जाता है. On expiry, if that option is out of the money or at the money, its value will be zero. Technically not zero, because the NSE software is such that वो zero दिखाने से वो screen में दिखेगा नहीं. So they put 0.05. Right? I'll show it to you. But you take this down, this portion, this one.
एग्जांपल है, इसमें टाइम वैल्यू जो है वो डिमिनिश होएगा विद टाइम या मार्केट प्राइस भी कुछ
दोनों काम करेगा. दोनों. टाइम वैल्यू इरोड्स विद टाइम, वो तो चलता रहेगा उसमें, लेकिन दूसरी तरफ मार्केट वैल्यू भी उसमें इंपैक्ट करेगा. नाउ वन हैज टू सी किसका पलड़ा भारी गिरता है. वही, दैट इज द होल गेम ऑफ ऑप्शन, नो? Now, after you take this down, we'll go on to the NSE screen and then we'll see how these are shown and displayed. Acha, ye jo Mr. A sold to Mr. Mr. B sold to Mr. Z. What were they buying and selling?
Right.
Rights. And right is a
Option.
that means they were effectively trading in options, not on the underlying stock. They were not trading on the stock. They were trading on the options to the stock. And you notice the value of the rights kept fluctuating with the value of the stock. Derivative instrument derives its value from the underlying asset. Right? And when they were buying and selling rights firm, they were buying and selling options. They were trading on options. Okay, done. Now let's do something. Let's go to the NSE screen and let's go to okay. Let's take SBI. Okay. Now notice the price of the spot price. Can you just note it down somewhere? 587.90. This is the spot price. 587.90. Now I go to derivatives and I go to option chain. Okay. Now if you Muzammil, you asked me, who decides that strike price? Now if you notice this whole table, look at this column. Strike. Let me just yeah, look at this strike price. And if you notice the strike price 475, 480, 485, 490, 495. See, it ticks off 5. But this is not standardized. Alag-alag stock ke alag-alag strike price tick honge. Okay. But this is the strike price. Now, notice here, this is this side, left hand side is call, and this side put. Okay. And beach mein you have the strike price. Acha. And what is the current market price of the stock? 587.9. Okay. Now let's take a minute. Now you notice something. One side, this side is shaded. You see this? This side is shaded. And this side is shaded. Right? Okay. Now, stock was 587.90. Left hand side was the call side. Right hand side is the put. Now, if the stock price is 587, then the right to buy at 570 strike price, is that option in the money or out of the money? Stock price is 587. Right to buy at 570. In the money, that means it will have intrinsic value plus the time value, right? Look at the premium. This is the premium. 20 rupees is the premium, right? Now this 20 ka breakup kya hai? How much is the intrinsic? 17. And how much is the time value? 3. 20 rupees is the premium, no? Out of which 17 is the intrinsic and 3 is the time. Acha, 1 minute. Right to buy at 560. In the money? Right? तो इसका वैल्यू कितना होना चाहिए? Forget this. स्क्रीन पे मत देखो, इसका वैल्यू कितना होना चाहिए? फॉर्म में वजन कितना है? 27. तो 27 प्लस समथिंग ही होना चाहिए. 2 rupees 50 is the time value. Right? Acha. Right to buy at 600. 1 minute. Right to buy at 600. Is this option in the money or out of the money? तो इसमें इंट्रिंसिक रहेगा क्या? पर टाइम तो रहेगा, अभी तो एक्सपायरी में बाकी है. तो दैट मींस दिस ऑप्शन should be much सस्ता than an in the money premium. In the money option, look at the premium. 2 rupees 75 paisa. This 2 rupees 75 is just the story value, right? Acha, the more further you go, ye right to buy at 625. Market price 587. Out of the money, and it's even further out of the money. No, the story value will have less credibility. कि तुम करोड़पति बन जाओगे फलाना ढिकना, right? Look at the premium. 0.5. You go further down, 640. Right? Okay. Now let's talk about put. Acha, which means can we say that for call, this portion is ITM and this portion OTM? Okay, wait. Now let's look at this side. Put, right? Right to sell at 500, market price 587. Is that option in the money, at the money, out of the money? Out of the money, so it will have no intrinsic value. सस्ता रहेगा. देखो कितना है? 500, 10 पैसा. Right? अच्छा. Right to sell at 615, 15. Market price is 587. In the money, how much will be the intrinsic value? 587.9 minus 615. How much is it? 20? And how much is this trading at? Logically, it should be 28 plus something, no? But how much is it trading at? So what does this tell you? There is some mispricing going on here. Yeah, again, either arbitrage, we'll learn that also. If there is mispricing, what arbitrage will do. I could either do arbitrage or I could speculate. Okay, same way. Market price 630. Right, sorry, right to sell at 630. Market price 587. In the money, intrinsic kitna hai? 42 point. Look at the price, 43. So how much is the time value? 0.9. That's your time value. That means, can we say that the shaded portion here is in the money and out of the money? Which means, can we now say when we are looking at the auction table, the shaded portion tells you the in the money part and the non-shaded portion tells us the out of the money part. Chahe wo call ka ho ya put ka ho. Right? And remember, most of the trading in options are done using this table, this option chain analysis. This option chain. This is the basis for trading. Right? Acha, now this was for SBI. Let's take another stock. Let's say HDFC. Say HDFC Bank. Okay. अरे यार अच्छा इसका तो मर्जर का चल रहा है ना. Let's talk about say Titan. Yeah, what is happening? This is not doing. Wipro. Why is the price not coming? Can you just check what is the price of Wipro yesterday? This is not giving the price feed. 420. Okay, let's look at derivatives. Go to option chain. You see this? The shaded portion in the money, out of the money. What is the price you said? 428. That means कितना? कुछ नहीं, गूगल में खाली विप्रो शेयर प्राइस डालो ना, एक प्राइस देखो. अच्छा ठीक है, चलो 428. Now if you look at the strike price 420, right to buy at 420, in the money, out of the money? In the money, to the extent of intrinsic value kitna? 8. So the premium value must be 8 plus something. 10.6. But right to buy at 440, in the money, out of the money? तो उसमें intrinsic तो नहीं रहेगा, with this time value रहेगा, right? Okay, but now understand something. This intrinsic value, ये तो कोई बीकॉम ग्रेजुएट भी बता देगा ना, डिफरेंस बिटवीन दिस एंड दिस इंट्रिंसिक. तो फिर ये ऑप्शन का पूरा गेम किस चीज के बारे में? टाइम वैल्यू. एंड टाइम वैल्यू में व्हाट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट इज इन्वॉल्व अपार्ट फ्रॉम टी? अपार्ट फ्रॉम टी, टाइम वैल्यू. घूम फिर के मार का खेला में आ रहे हैं. तो फाइनली ऑप्शंस भी आप देखोगे, इट्स फाइनली आर का गेम, right? Okay, yes, Tanmay, finally we come down to R. Now okay, so Muzammil does that. Now if you see here, the strike prices are moving in slabs of 2 rupees 50 paise. Strike price, not the market price. Strike price 2 rupees 50 paise. In the earlier SBI stock, it was moving in ticks of 5. So every stock has got its own tick price when it comes to strike prices. But the thing is, when you go to the market, you will have all these options being traded. All these. That is, sorry. All these strike prices are being traded. Strike prices are being traded. Now it is up to us to decide कि यार I want to trade on this, or I want to trade on this. It's like, buffet. You decide, what you want. Now, so the next important thing that you would ask is, sir, then how do we decide which one to trade? है ना? सब कुछ थोड़ी बताऊंगा. सब कुछ बताने से तुम लोग फिर सीखोगे क्या लाइफ में? That is the whole trick of option. No? Out of these, to decide which one will you make the most money at, right? But anyway, चलो वो भी देखेंगे थोड़ा हल्का फुल्का, वो भी we'll see that. But okay, this gives you. अच्छा, now remember these prices. ये जो prices दिख रहे हैं ना, ये वाले, These will keep changing. Cut. Why will this change? Because the current market price is changing there.
No shaded area will change in the
Huh?
shaded area.
Bilkul. Because if the stock price goes to say 422, then the shaded area will begin from here, no? The option will become at the money here. This will also keep changing. हाँ
वहाँ पे trade नहीं हो रहा है।
वहां पे ट्रेड नहीं हो रहा है. There are no buyer or seller.
Call पे नहीं है।
कॉल सी कभी कॉल ट्रेड होता है, कभी उसमें पुट नहीं ट्रेड होगा, या फिर दोनों नहीं ट्रेड हो रहा होगा. इफ यू सी दिस, आई विल शो यू प्लेसेस वेयर दोनों नहीं ट्रेड होते हैं. और यहां पे नहीं है, यहां पे नहीं है, बट इन सम स्टॉक्स यू विल हैव दोनों नहीं ट्रेड होते हैं. एंड जनरली bulk of the trading would happen in this zone. Around the at the money level. Later on we'll understand why. वो बाद में समझेंगे. But bulk of the trading will happen here. Right? So this is how the options are traded. Later on I'll get you into the trading screen and see how we can execute orders. But anyway,
This lot size नहीं है।
सबका lot size होता है. Options have lot sizes, and every share's lot sizes are different. Some may have 1,000, some may have 750. Right? What's the market now? 1 minute ago. Let's see if I can. What is it? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if I can get. This is the trading screen. No? Now let us say SBI shares. What was the price? SBI shares 587.9. Now if you check this on the left hand side of my screen, unfortunately I can't enlarge this, but on the left hand side you can see SBI IN NSE F&O September 23 610 CE. Can you see that? Wait, let me just maybe take a screenshot of this. Here. You see this? Futures and option segment. And this is a option on SBI, right? The expiry date is September 23rd. And 610 is the strike price. 610 is the strike price. That is the one I've chosen. Okay. Now, this right to buy at 610, market price 587. Is it OTM, ATM? Right to buy at 610. OTM, सस्ता रहेगा 3 rupees, 2 rupees 95 paisa. Now you see, देखते देखते change हो गया 2 rupees 95 paisa. Now, if I want to buy this, I click here. Now you see this, buy BS, and then you have basket orders and all. I could just press buy, and you may not be able to see it on the screen here. Lot size 1500. People who are seeing it online, they can see it. Lot size 1500, just above lots. So I might decide to buy 1 or say 2 lots, right? And the price is 2 rupees 95 paisa. If I put this, I've put as market. See, it's changing. 285, 280 is changing, right? Now, if I execute this order, that means I'm buying the call with a strike price of 610 at whatever price this gets executed at. Okay, so let's say it gets executed at 2 rupees 80 paisa, right? That means 1500 into 2 lots, 3000 into 2 rupees 80 paisa. That is the premium I have to pay. and I'll pay him. Now, on expiry, if this option expires out of the money or at the money, इसका value 0 हो जाएगा. तो मैंने ये जो अभी whatever I paid, that's my loss. Understand? My loss cannot be more than this. But profit तो हो ही सकता है. Exactly what we studied, no? As a buyer of an option, my losses are limited to the premium that I pay. But suppose, now you see this. Had I purchased it at 2 rupees 80 paisa, now what is the price? 2.95. Okay? I could have sold it right now. 2 minutes ago, I could have purchased it and I could have sold it right now, making a profit of 15 paisa into 3,000. कितना है? 450 rupees. क्या खोटा है 2 मिनट के लिए? यहाँ पे there are a whole lot of professors who earn that much the whole day. What's the point? 2 minutes you earn 450 and get out. Yeah, you will have brokerage. But ठीक है ना, these discount brokerages, they charge you 20 and 20, 40 rupees. चलो 40 रुपया उसको दिया यार. 300, I mean, फिर भी घर आया पैसा 2 मिनट के लिए. अभी तो 3 रुपया हो गया बात करते करते. See, that's how fast the option moves. Right? Okay. Chalo, we'll come into this later. Right now, अच्छा इसका मतलब, see, understand, now you've actually learned from the screen, you can identify whether the option is in the money or out of the money, and then you can look at the option premium and determine out of this how much is the intrinsic and how much is the time. Right? Now let's do something. Let's do this in problem. Sure. These, again, the first couple of questions you may not get in the exam. Question number 17. Given the following data, determine the value of call option. And when at their expiry dates, not before, expiry date ke din, what will be the value? Now, look at this. And these are all call. A call, let's say, option A, B, C, D. कॉल का स्ट्राइक प्राइस कितना है? 12, 21, 52, 5. And market price of share 10, 25, 48, 7. Now, first of all, what you need to do is identify whether this option is पहला वाला क्या है? Right to buy at 12, market price 10. एक मिनट. If the option is out of the money on expiry date, what will be the value of that option on expiry date? 0, no? Because understand, उसमें intrinsic value कुछ नहीं रहेगा, time value कुछ नहीं रहेगा, right? So the value of option on expiry 0. Achha. Next one, right to buy at 21, market price 25. So on expiry, what will be its value? Will there be any time value on expiry? Nothing. So what will be its value? Intrinsic, how much? 4. Okay. Right to buy at 52, market price 48. What will be its value? 0. Right to buy at 5, market price 7. Right? Now, please understand this, and this is very important. See, future price. Now, listen carefully. Future, I'm not talking about option, I'm talking future. What is the price of future on expiry? Same as spot, right? And what is the price of an in the money option on expiry? What is the price of an in the money option on expiry? Intrinsic value, not spot. Intrinsic value, that is the difference. And students अक्सर यहीं पे mistake करते हैं, because हम बाद में whenever we are going to do problem, we are going to take position in options and then we need to square off. And square off करते समय most of the student confuse it with futures and say, boss, future must be equal to spot price, so equal to spot and square it off. No, option में if that option is in the money, then the value of the option will be equal to its intrinsic value, not spot value. Okay. So okay, this is the answer for this. You can take this down.
अगर इसमें इंटरेस्ट रेट दिया होता तो हमारा इंटरेस्ट वैल्यू पता ये होता चेंज होता
मतलब
जो ऑप्शन का डिफरेंस होता है दोनों का कॉल का और एफडीएस का अगर इन द मनी रहेगा तो उसमें इंटरेस्ट वैल्यू होता है या
time value count. This is you are finding the value of the option on expiry, no? तो expiry के दिन time value
बीच में पूछा होता है
तो बीच में तो इंट्रिंसिक प्लस टाइम रहता है ना, और वो टाइम वैल्यू इज नथिंग बट इंटरेस्ट. Let me see. I think I've got a screenshot of option prices on expiry. शायद मेरे पास होना चाहिए. Before expiry, can the option value be 0? No, because before expiry उसमें time value तो रहेगा ही रहेगा. Intrinsic भी हो सकता है, but even if intrinsic is not there, time value is definitely going to be there. Okay. Now wait, let me just see whether I can find that screenshot. Wait a minute. I don't know whether I. I must have it somewhere. Wait a minute. अच्छा this is नहीं कुछ होना तो चाहिए यार. Just a minute. I have that somewhere. पता नहीं है. Let me check. मिल जाएगा कहीं पे. Okay. नहीं तो टुडे इज व्हाट, आज का एक्सपायरी है नहीं, आज क्या तारीख है नहीं, और एक state whether each one of the following is in the money, at the money or out of the money. बड़ा सिंपल सा चीज है. I mean, if you want, again, don't expect these questions in the exam. These are not for exam purposes. These are just there for ensuring that you've got your concepts in place now. What you can do is, even in your textbook, you can just write whether this is ITM, ATM, or OTM. Now, you fill this in, later I'll fill it.
Yeah, one expert.
Huh? This is now, before expiry. And how does it matter? Before you are only, you're not, they're not asking you to find the intrinsic and time. They're just saying, boss, ये option in the money है, at the money है, OTM है. That's it.
उसका भूल के start करना, मतलब now का short time.
How that was a call. देखो, मैंने जब स्क्रीन दिखाया, just showed call and put. Remember the shaded box? उधर long short का क्या concept है? Call है. See, it is like this. I tell you, boss, what is the market price of the share? Now, will you say, sir, sell करने के लिए कि बेचने के? Market price तो एक ही है? Okay. Call with a strike price of 60. Spot is this, out of the money. This is OTM. ATM. OTM. OTM. ये put है ना, ITM. OTM. OTM. ITM.
उसका कौन सा वाला वो एक ही है
ये ITM. Okay, then chalo. Now, a stock with the current market price of 50 has the following exercise price and call option premium. Compute the intrinsic value and the time value, which means they're saying that current market price is 50. This is 50. And call exercise price 45, 48, 50, 52, 55, and they've given the premium as 9, 6, 4, 3, 2. Now, before segregating the intrinsic and time, what you need to do is classify whether this option is ITM, ATM, or OTM, and then find out the intrinsic value, time value. करो फिर मैं करता हूँ. See, call with a strike price of 45. This is ITM, ITM. अच्छा, ITM है तो इसमें it will have both intrinsic and time, right? So the intrinsic is 5 and 4 rupees is the time value, and here intrinsic is 2, 4. So now we know. अब देखो आप overall देखोगे you are now able to identify the ITM, ATM, OTMs. Then you are able to understand that an ITM option will have intrinsic and time, right? And OTM and ATM will only have time. But if you are talking about expiry, then OTM, ATM will be zero value, no intrinsic, no time, and the in the money on expiry will be equal to time. Intrinsic value, intrinsic value. Okay, chalo. 20. Now 20, same thing, but it's a put. Can you do it? So you have market price 50. Put strike price 45. Premium. Can an option be used to hedge a future position? Yes, Shashank, absolutely. You can use Nifty futures, and to hedge it, you can use Nifty options. Just like you have SBI options here. I can use Nifty, say CE. You see this? Nifty, let's say CE 19,800. Right now it's out of the money. Here, Nifty 19,800. It's trading at 81 rupees. Huh? कौन सा rate? No, 81 says that opening price say it's gone down. If you look at market depth, get code. It's going down. It's again 79.15, 78. See, I mean, just look at the rapid price change that's happening. A stock, 76. Dekhte. Right? And within 2 or 3 minutes, it wouldn't be surprising if this thing goes to 95. Within just 2-3 minutes, this thing would go to 95. I mean, options are very volatile. And similarly, if I just wanted to sell, right? If I press this, here, place sell order. I can just put in my lots. And if you see this Nifty lot size, 50. Small lot size, 50. Acha, now you notice something. Required funds. You see here at the bottom? Here, required funds. See, this is, I'm placing a sell order, right? One lot, 50. The premium is 50 into 80 point whatever. But you see this? This is the margin I require, 1 lakh. But if I, instead of placing everyone online, if you notice the bottom of the screen, required funds for placing 1 lot of sell order, I need a margin of 1,06,000. But instead of placing a sell order, if I say buy, you see the required funds, 4102, which is nothing but the 1 lot into the premium. जितना प्रीमियम है बस उतना पे करो. बट सेलर क्या करना पड़ेगा आपको? मार्जिन देना पड़ता है ना. इसीलिए to sell options you need much more money than buying option. If you want to buy this option, no, all you need is 4,000 rupees. That's it. But if I press sell, you see this, the required money is 1,06,000 for selling one lot. That's the margin requirement. इतना क्यों margin? Simple. What is the definition of an option? Buyer का क्या limited रहता है और profit unlimited, और seller का loss unlimited losses. ना बस कंगाल हो सकते हो इसमें. I mean, just imagine if Nifty shoots up 30,000, say from 19,800, it goes to 25,000. आपका लॉस ना इधर लाखों में आ जाएगा. 10-15 लाख का लग जाएगा एक लॉट में, और वो लग भी सकता है. Which is why this margin. So selling is.
सर अगर आप एस्टिमेट करते हैं मार्केट नीचे जा रहा है,
हाँ,
if I buy today, sell option,
buy a put.
sell.
If you sell a call, हाँ,
Then I can make profit.
you can make profit, but ये बिना ये फंड डिपॉजिट के आपका ट्रेड एग्जीक्यूट ही नहीं होगा. It won't. It will now see if I place sell order, no, it won't take it. कि मेरे पास फंड्स इतना होना चाहिए तब जाके वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. Okay. Anyways,
stock and index के अलावा commodity जो उसके
बिल्कुल कमोडिटीज पे भी होता है, करेंसी पे तो है ही. अपने लिए तो करेंसी ऑप्शन इज अ सेपरेट चैप्टर. Yeah, we have a separate chapter, no, currency options and derivatives. Yes, अपने लिए separate chapter. And understand, in currency option, what a tough time you're going to have. अभी call और put में दिमाग काम नहीं कर रहा है ना, and उधर you'll have call and put along with bid and ask. Right, so that chapter is going to drive you nuts. वैसे भी ये तो अभी शुरुआत ही हुआ है ना. This is just the starting of options. आगे आगे देखो क्या होता है अभी. चलो, now we will just have enough time to do something, and then part of it we'll discuss in the next lecture. The equity shares of VCC Limited is quoted at 210. So this is what? Spot price. A 3-month call option is available at a premium of 6 per share, and a 3-month put option is available at a premium of 5 per share. And the strike price is the same. You see this? Ascertain the net payoff of the holder of option and put if the strike price in both cases is 220. Now, trust me, this is see option chain. Okay, now if you see this, you have the option strike price in the middle, right? This is the strike price, and you see this is the call, this side is the put, and then you see the shaded box. Okay, now I can buy a call with a strike price of 2,100, and I can also buy a put with a strike price of 2,100. What is there to prevent me from doing that? I can do that. Okay, or I can buy this and I can buy this call only. Now understand the permutation combinations that are possible. This call, this call, this call, this put, this call, this put, right? This call September, this call October. आप समझ रहे हो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं? 20,000 strike price call I can buy of September, and 20,000 strike price I can buy of October. No, because 3 महीने का trade होता है ना, September, October, November, right? So that means I can move across strike price, I can move across calendar, right? Same strike price, same month, same strike price, different month, same month, different strike price, डिफरेंट मंथ डिफरेंट स्ट्राइक प्राइस, ये परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन हो सकता है, इससे भी ज्यादा होगा, इससे भी ज्यादा हो सकता है, राइट? बट एनीवेज, नाउ दिस क्वेश्चन, it says ascertain the net payoff of the option holder of a call option and a put option, right? And option holder, मतलब buyer और seller. Option holder मतलब कौन? Buyer or the seller? Buyer. The person, I mean, who's the holder of the policy? Yeah, insurance company or you? You are the holder of the policy, buyer, right? So that means ascertain the net payoff of the call option and put option separately. Strike price in both cases 220 and the share price on exercise day is this. But now I don't want this here. ये नहीं चाहिए मुझे, मुझे क्या चाहिए मालूम है? 150 to 300 in ticks of 10. मैं मॉडिफाई कर रहा हूं क्वेश्चन को, जनरली क्वेश्चन एग्जाम में ऐसे ही आएगा 200 210 220 चार प्राइस देंगे, बट आई वांटेड फ्रॉम 150 to 300. राइट? सो नाउ व्हाट डू वी हैव? अपने को पे ऑफ बनाना है ना, ascertain the net payoff, right? So we have market price 150 160 170 180 190 200 210 220 230 240 250, and we'll also see कि ऐसा by doing both of them together what is it that we achieve, okay, and what are these called, that later. First let us just prepare the payoff. You have a long call with a strike price of 220 and this has got a premium of 6, and you have a long put with a strike price of 220, premium of 5, and you will have a net payoff. पहले आप लोग बनाओ फिर मैं बनाता हूं. टिक्स की मैंने कितना तक बोला था? अच्छा 300. हाँ तो चलो 300 तक ले लेते हैं. अच्छा, normally when you buy shares you will only make money when the market goes up, right? You won't make money when the market goes down. Now options are such a fantastic instruments, and they are possibly the only instruments in the world which will allow you to make money whether the market goes down, whether the market goes up, whether the market doesn't move at all. It will still allow you to make money. See this? हाँ कौन सा
सेकंड इसमें वेरिएंस वाला
हाँ
सेकंड राउंड बुक में वेरिएंस तो बराबर
okay now this person, the person who has done these two trades, will he now be worried whether the market collapses or whether the market goes up? Understand? Whether the market goes down or whether the market goes up, he is going to end up making money. Now, typically, this is the strategy we adopted before the 2014 elections, when we were not sure whether BJP would come or Congress would come. Congress आता तो market टूटता था, BJP आया तो market ऊपर गया. This is what we adopted. Congress आया, market नीचे जाएगा, doesn't matter, I'll still make money. BJP आएगा, market ऊपर जाएगा, I'll still make money. This only options can give you. Stocks cannot give you this. और इसका पे ऑफ डायग्राम कैसे बनेगा? विल डिस्कस दैट लेटर. टुडे इट्स बिट लेट, बट इसका पे ऑफ डायग्राम कैसे बनेगा? व्हाट विल बी द शेप ऑफ इट्स पे ऑफ डायग्राम? What is this called? What is the implication of this? All this we'll discuss. This is just the, ये जो प्रॉब्लम हमने किया है ना, this is just the tip of the iceberg. अब इसके पीछे तो पूरा राम कहानी बाकी है, right? This is a strategy. What strategy is this? What are the different things possible here? Next lecture. चलो आज के लिए इतना रखते हैं. Okay, anyone wants to ask anything, ask. I'll stop the recording, but I'll